This is Jeb Boone with ESFI, and I'm here with Adam Rosen, co-president of the Texas Esports Association. How are you, man?
Doing well. It's been a crazy week, but things are coming together, so I'm excited.
When you and your brother first sat down and decided to make TeSPA a real thing, what were some of the first steps you guys took to found the organization?
First steps. The first steps were really just getting a bunch of people together who enjoyed the same things that we enjoyed. I think that's the first step to starting any organization that's a community focused organization, is that the entire organization rests on the community, right? So you have to build that community of people. And then once you have a community of people who are interested in, esports or whatever it is, making an officer board. So we made an officer board, we made a really strong team, and we worked very closely with that team to create a strong direction moving forward. So that led into the organization we have today.
You mentioned the team of people you have that have come together to do this. The whole event is being run by volunteers, if I'm correct.
Yep.
About how many people do you have, and have they all come from UT or locally, or?
Yeah, sure. So we have a team of about 10 directors within Texas Esports Association who are working hard on all the different parts of the event. Each one of those directors is running a team of their own. In total, I'd say we have a volunteer staff of about 70 people.
Wow, yeah,
working with this event. So that's everything from player relations to production.
Another important part of what you're doing is selling esports to sponsors, which is definitely not easy. How have y'all had so much success with it, and especially how have you guys managed to pick up things like people like AT&T and Microsoft?
Really, I think the reason that we've had so much success with sponsors is simply because we don't give up. It sounds really corny, but we started sponsors something like 5 months ago, making our sponsor packages, making those documents, and then going out and meeting with these people, going to every event we possibly could, networking with potential sponsors, going out to dinner, going out to lunch. We flew to California. We met with as many people as we could, and just followed up and continued to follow up until we actually raised the money that we needed to raise for this event. It's definitely not an easy thing, but it's something that I think hard work can overcome. And some of the new sponsors, it's kind of interesting because I think that Lone Star Clash has a really interesting angle. We're a community event. We're not tied down with corporate bureaucracy or a lot of those other things that could tie down large tournament organizations. So we like to think creatively and think of new ways to approach problems. For example, one thing that we're doing with this event is we have a very large student base. So one of the selling points of Lone Star Clash is connections with those students. So we've had some interest on the recruiting side. And we've also looked at local companies, everything from Dell, who's centered in Round Rock, which is right next to Austin, to a company like Links to Games or Campus to Careers, which are startups based in Austin.
Okay. What are your ambitions for future Lone Star Clash tournaments? The scale of these things can be so many different things.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting question. We've been discussing that a lot recently, and there's a lot of there's a good number of directions we can go. However, there are a few things that definitely will happen. One, we'll continue to have Lone Stars, and we want to continue to grow them. This tournament is different from the first Lone Star in that we're adding in a whole new section. Last time was StarCraft 2, 16 players. This time we're adding in League of Legends. We have a Pro League of Legends and a Collegiate League of Legends. So we're more than doubling the scope. The new venue we're in is so much larger than before, and we want to keep increasing that. We do want to continue bringing in more games, and we really do want to continue to bring in this collegiate element, because I really believe that the college angle is something that will drive the growth of esports in the long run.
For TeSPA as an organization, your main focus may not necessarily just be Lone Star Clash. You do so many different things around Texas. So what other projects have you undertaken to sort of build the esports infrastructure in Texas?
Yeah, sure thing. So one thing that TeSPA has been really active in recently, and by recently I mean over the past year, is barcraft scenes. And that's something that TeSPA has pretty much pioneered along with Star Nation within Austin. So I think Austin now has one of the largest bar crafts of anywhere. Usually we can get between 150 and 200 people out per bar craft, and most recently we started doing pub stomps, which are bar crafts for League of Legends viewings. So that's something that we're doing to really bring this community together. But on a larger sense, we're trying to replicate what we've done in Austin all around the state and beyond. So about a month ago, we announced the official expansion of TeSPA to 8 collegiate branches around the state. And we are going to continue to try to reach out to different branches and cultivate organizations like we have in Austin all around the United States.
The League of Legends community, pretty much only the League of Legends community, has been comparing this tournament a lot with GESL because of the similar sort of people running the event with CSN. It's in volunteers. In their eyes, GESL was not a success. What can you say to League of Legends fans to assure them that this is going to be different?
I think that if you followed what we've done so far, everything from announcements to plans online, I think that should speak for itself. However, I think if anybody has worries that this event, may not be, the best it could be because we have the collegiate angle, I would ask people to look at Lone Star Clash 1. Lone Star Clash 1, while it was only a StarCraft event, was hailed as one of the favorite community events for StarCraft 2 in 2012. People adored the event, and we have a lot of experience doing events. We have done, I think, 5 events now, each time successfully ramping up, iterating, and improving ourselves and expanding at the same time. So, yeah, Lone Star 1 is a good indication, and Lone Star 2 is going to be so much better.
Recently you had a few lineup changes in the StarCraft scene. Major dropped off. Can you give us any update as to who might replace him?
Yeah, sure. So actually, we didn't announce specifically because it's kind of tricky how it works. Root Todd is actually replacing Major, and we've picked up Axelav for the last slot. So we haven't announced him, but we'll be doing so in the next day.
Pretty soon, right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. How have ticket sales been, and how many people are you expecting to be here?
Sure. Ticket sales have been going absolutely great. We have a VIP ticket and a standard ticket. We have 50 VIP tickets available, and they all sold out weeks ago. As far as standard tickets go, we have sold, I think, something like 450 tickets so far to this venue. To give you some indication of what that means, for Lone Star Clash 1, before the event, we had sold about 175 tickets, and we had 750 people show up. So we're expecting a completely packed venue, and we do still have discount tickets available online, $5 off at TeSPA.org/LSE2/tickets.
This is you added League of Legends on for Lone Star Clash 2. Have you thought about adding any other games on in the future, like Dota or something like that?
Yeah, we absolutely have. One thing that TeSPA is, and TeSPA tries to do, is to bring together communities of gamers. We want to continuously expand our community, and we realize that our community likes different games. StarCraft player isn't only a StarCraft player. A League player isn't only a League player. So we do want to continue bringing in games to grow the esports community. However, I think StarCraft 2 and League of Legends are definitely here to stay.
You guys have worked a lot with Day 9 and Day 9 TV. How has that experience helped you, and how has it helped TeSPA and Lone Star Clash?
I worked with Day 9 TV all last summer. Working with the team it helped me in a number of ways. First of all, Day 9 TV is wonderful mentors. They're doing kind of what we're doing. They're a group of people which is very passionate about esports and is trying to make big things happen. So I learned a lot working with them, not only about how things work, how they do things, but about how we do things as well. There's a ton of similarities actually, and I think that those similarities would be found in any number of esports organizations. There's soft skills, hard skills, mentorship, a lot of things that we learned, but nothing really like huge I could pinpoint. This was the one thing because there's so many things.
All right, I think that's all we have for you. Thanks very much for the interview, and best of luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming out, and thanks for interviewing me.